Hey everyone, tonight we're gonna make barramundi with cauliflower coconut rice. This is a dish we eat almost every week on Monday nights, and it's super simple, easy, healthy, and delicious. We found out about barramundi a couple years ago, just wandering through Whole Foods, and it's just really cheap protein that's super sustainable. It has a very mild and sweet, flaky taste. And honestly, this bag is only like 10 or 11 bucks. So super affordable, comes with 2 fillets. So that's our protein. We're gonna accompany it with cauliflower and coconut rice. Super simple and easy to make, very carb conscious and very healthy for you. And to add a sauce to the dish, we are gonna make a ginger scallion sauce. All you really need with it is a neutral oil, scallions, some knobs of ginger. We like to add sesame oil. That's not super traditional, but it adds some flavor. And you just need some salt. So super simple, not that many ingredients, and we'll show you how to make it next. So I just opened up the bag here and taking out the fillets. As you can see, there are 2 large fillets here. And they're frozen, so what we need to do is defrost them. So I'm going to put them in a bowl in some cold water, and this will take about 10 to 15 minutes to defrost, and they'll be ready to cook that way. So while the fish is defrosting, we can get the sauce ready. So the sauce, the ginger scallion sauce, the first thing we're gonna do is get the oil ripping hot, and what we need is 1/4 cup of a neutral oil. We use avocado oil because it has a very high smoke point and doesn't go rancid if you go too high. So 1/4 cup of avocado oil. So we're gonna make a little bit more ginger scallion oil, so I'm adding 1/4 cup to this recipe, and there we go. So now we have a 1/2 cup. Now look, we got the oil. Now we need to heat it up, and we're gonna put it on the stove on medium-high heat and get it really hot until it's kind of smoking. Next up, I'm gonna get some ginger out, and we need 2 inches of knob ginger. I'm gonna take off the peel because we're gonna grate it after, and grating it here with a peel on makes it kind of more difficult. So what you can do to take off the peel of the ginger is use the back of a spoon and kind of carve it off so you can preserve more of the root. So we've got the ginger peeled now, and what we're going to do is use the medium side grate. It's on a grater, and just break down this ginger. And it's great to use a grater. It really brings out the pungency and strength of ginger flavor. Because what we're gonna do after is scald the ginger and the green onion with really hot oil, and it'll bring out the right flavors. So we got our ginger here, and I put it in a metal bowl because we're gonna put the scalding hot oil on top later, and this will be really helpful. So next, need some scallions, and what you want to do is use a bunch up to 1 cup or 2 cups worth of scallions. You want a bigger scallion ratio than ginger, as you really want that green onion flavor to shine through. So what we're going to do is slice them really thin, as thin as you can, and then we'll mix it together with the ginger. We'll use all of the green onion, not just the white parts. So now I have the scallions and ginger in the bowl here, and we're gonna mix it up, but first I'm gonna put a generous amount of salt in there to season it. Give it a mix. And you want to mix it well so that when we put the scalding oil on top, it distributes and scalds both the ginger and the green onion. my eyes. So now it's mixed up. And I can see that the hot oil is smoking. And I'm going to pour it on top, so be careful here not to splatter on yourself, and you're going to hear it sizzle. You can smell the aromas come out of the green onion and the ginger, and be careful, it'll be hot. And give it a little bit of a mix to make sure it's all evenly distributed and that the green onion and ginger kind of marinate the oil. So there's our sauce. We can add the sesame oil when the oil cools down a bit. So next we're gonna make the coconut cauliflower rice, and here you have some frozen cauliflower rice already made. We get this from Whole Foods, and it's super convenient and healthy, and it's literally just organic cauliflower diced up into rice chunks. So I have the stove here on medium high, and what I'm going to do is just take half the bag. That's all we need for tonight. And then 2 to 3 tablespoons of avocado oil. I'm going to heat that up in there. So yeah, all we have to do is wait for this to cook down. Usually this only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to cook down. And once it's nice and soft, we'll add some salt and 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut milk. So the cauliflower rice is now cooked down, and we can add the coconut milk and some salt. So I'm going to add about maybe 3 tablespoons of the coconut milk here. That adds a really nice, rich and creamy flavor to the otherwise pretty bland cauliflower. Gives it a nice, rich texture. And then I'll give a generous pinch of kosher salt. Mix it together. That's it. If you ever have some excess water in your cauliflower rice, all you need to do is just continue to cook it down until that water evaporates. Now the fish is defrosted, and what we want to do now is dab them dry. And the reason why you want to do this is because we're going for maximum crispiness of the fish. And in order to do that, we need to remove moisture, as much moisture as possible. And that contributes to the crispier fish. We usually pan fry it on a cast iron skillet to get it really crispy. And the reason why we're salting it now versus earlier is you don't want to salt your fish too soon, as that can affect the texture of the fish. Just rub the oil in the fish all over. And this will help make it crispy as well. Make sure you season it all over, and that there's some salt in every bite. We'll also do the other side as well. And we like to use kosher salt because kosher salt sticks to the food a lot better and isn't really that salty, so gives it a nice seasoning. Now our fishes are salted, and we're gonna start cooking them. So I have the cast iron here preheated with medium-high heat, and I have some avocado oil on it. And we want to use a medium-high heat because having a ripping hot pan will burn the fish. So medium-high is pretty good, and when I put the fish in, I use a fish spatula to push the fish down as much as possible on the cast iron to get more surface area, as this helps contribute to a more crispy fish. So you only want to do that for about 30 seconds to a minute until you feel like all sides of the fish have been flattened down on the cast iron skillet. It's also really helpful to use a splatter guard, as the fish sometimes can splatter a bit all over your stove. And my sweet spot for pan frying the fish on the cast iron skillet at medium-high heat depends on your stove, but usually for me, 4 minutes on one side works out really well before flipping it to the other side to also cook it again for 4 minutes. And what we're going for here is a crispy golden brown texture, not burnt, but also not undercooked. You want that crispy, nice brown fish, and you'll see it here. So now we'll flip the fish, and using a fish spatula really helps here so you can carve right under the fish and not break any piece of it. And be careful when you flip it. And as we can see here, the fish has a nice brown crust, and it'll be really crispy and perfect. So here we have the fish, nice and crispy. As you can see, it has some golden brown. It'll be super delicious. Now we just need to plate it. Let me finish the ginger scallion sauce. It's cooled down now, and we can add the toasted sesame oil. We don't want to add too much as this has a very strong flavor, and we don't want it to overpower the sauce much, so this tiny teaspoon here. Give it a nice mix. So my GoPro died, so I'm going to finish this video with a voiceover. So now that we have the sauce made, I'm going to plate the riced cauliflower around the fish. And now we can add our ginger scallion sauce. And we're going to put it on top of the fish. Usually we don't put sauce on top of crispy fish with skin because it can make it soggy. But here this fish has no skin, so it's totally fine. It'll still remain crispy. So just put it right on top. To add more texture and flavor, we like to add furikake on top of our riced cauliflower. And for some spice, I like to add hot chili oil, which gives it a nice heat and extra crunch. So I'm giving it a taste. And the fish is super crispy. It's super rich with the coconut cauliflower rice. And with the furikake and the hot chili oil, there's nice texture and heat and toasty flavors. And the seaweed from the furikake gives some salinity. So it's super tasty, super delicious. This is a very easy, healthy weeknight meal. You can also have it on the weekends if you want. But we like to eat this on Mondays. And let me know how you like it. Enjoy.